So apparently I'm a millennial and I just found that out. And that also means that I am going to be financially ruined because if there are any generations out there who are going to be suffering financially, it is going to be the millennials. And don't even get me started on Generation Z. Hey all, welcome back. It's me, Kevin, and I'm a millennial. After all these years when I thought that I'm Generation Y, turns out I'm just a millennial. That's right, I'm in the generation that most older people see as disloyal, untrustworthy, lazy, aimless, always dreaming, and sometimes referred to as the generation useless. But I think this is just all a big misunderstanding from the older people because we millennials, we are financially doomed because inflation has gone so far ahead that everything has become just too expensive for us. We still can make a living and we can still survive, but we can't truly possess things that the previous generations normally can, such as buying a home, for example. But it is not really our fault to be put in this position. Over the years, property prices have gone up, inflation rate has gone up, but our salary just hasn't keep up with them. Meaning our salary hasn't really been increasing that quick, which is completely understandable. I can understand that. We millennials struggle a lot financially. We work twice as hard, but we earn twice as little. And that's the truth. Our dollar value has gone down so much, and there's nothing we can do about it. But there's one thing that I'm really proud of in being a millennial, and that is there are tons of opportunities out there for us. Opportunities that the older generation call it a dream that doesn't come true, you might as well find a proper job. One of the best examples I can give you is starting a YouTube channel or becoming an influencer. This is something that the older generation calls it as not a job, and therefore it is not a valid way to make income. We spend money buying expensive camera and spending money on video editing software, which people find is a total waste of money, and we're always seen as not doing things correctly just because we do not want to follow the traditional 9 to 5 system. But just take a look out there for a second. How many millennials out there has there been that have basically changed the world thanks to technology? And they have gotten rich so much faster compared to previous generations because they know how to leverage on social media. Influencer isn't even a thing many years ago, but now influencer has so much power over marketing that every company is looking for an influencer to work with. We work hard by doing things that applies to this modern era, but we pay the price for it because what we are doing right now is just not the norm, and therefore people look down on us. But I am proud of all these things that we can achieve because we are the first to do it, we are the pioneers, and we create new industries for ourselves. Because let's face it, we are really sick of the traditional 9 to 5 system, a system that pretty much works against us. So we got a little bit smarter, a little bit more innovative, and we start our own path. And slowly, as time goes by, our generation, the millennials, we sort of become the mainstream, which is why you see being an influencer has become such a big thing. But who knows, maybe this only works for the current generation and it's not going to work for the next generation. They're going to have to find their own way, they're going to have to be creative, they're going to have to be innovative, but well, let's just leave it with them. Being a millennial also means being able to earn money our own way, sometimes more, sometimes less, but whatever it is, we're not really doing it for fame. In fact, we're doing it because we're struggling financially and we just want to give ourselves a better living to be able to grow financially so that we can beat the inflation rates because frankly speaking, we're kind of sick and tired of living day to day and there's really no end to it until we die, until we get old. So we do what we do best as humans, and that is to survive. Now, there are two things that people seem to misunderstand about millennials. The first thing is that we are lazy, and the second one is that we have no savings because we just spend way too much. Now, I hate to be misunderstood, so let's just address this once and for all. The first one is that we are lazy. We're often seen as working whenever we want, we're always changing jobs because the job just doesn't suit us, and we always want to find the easy way out. And it is completely normal for people to view us like that, I can understand that, so let's just accept that for a second. But from our perspective, are we really being lazy or are we being innovative? The definition of lazy can be quite subjective. Are we always staying at home and not doing anything? That's considered lazy to me. For me, I'm lazy because as a millennial, I think that this traditional 9 to 5 working system, it doesn't really work that well anymore. I mean, look, we head into the office and then we have to sit at our desk from 9 to 5. We hardly do any work and we're tired after having a big lunch. We have that afternoon slump and we're pretty much just waiting for 5 o'clock to hit so that we can go home. And that to me isn't really productive. I believe that jobs should be more result-based and not really about sitting there 9 to 5 and thinking that you actually did some work. We're not lazy, we're just unmotivated to work because being productive these days is different. It's not about just sitting in front of the computer 9 to 5 and you think that you're being productive. Productivity just isn't measured that way anymore. And with the pandemic going on, most people are working from home. And I don't know about you, me working from home, I feel a lot more productive than ever. So really, we millennials, we're just trying to change things that doesn't work anymore. In fact, we're just trying to improve things, right? Let's just put it that way. We're just trying to improve a system that is broken. And with technology advancements, everything is changing so quickly. So a 9 to 5 should change as well. I mean, I have been working from home. I've been super productive because I've saved so much time and energy from commuting, which takes about 3 hours a day back and forth commuting to work and back. And it just depletes my energy, and now I'm just saving so much time from that. And now I can use those time and put it to better use. Millennials aren't lazy, we're just doing things our own way, and in the end, how we get to the goal doesn't really matter. All it matters is we make sure that we get to the goal on time. The second one is millennials has no savings because we just spend way too much. Now, this is true. I do believe that there are people who just spend so much, spends way more than they earned. But this isn't limited to just millennials. I believe that this also applies to every single generations out there because this is more of a human nature. It is more of a mindset thing and the way you manage finance, so I don't think this is related to generations. But I do know that there are a lot of millennials out there who are trying their best to save money the best they can, but they are just having a hard time doing it. In some way, a fresh graduate's salary is more or less the same as what it was 10 years ago. And that actually doesn't make any sense because inflation rate goes up every year. So how is it possible that your salary remains more or less the same 10 years ago? Surely living cost has gone up so much. So how can you even survive with a salary that has been set 10 years ago? It makes it so hard to have any savings at all. In fact, many millennials are trying their best to save up money as best as they can. But every single time they get paid at the end of the month, the money just goes straight to paying their bills, their rents, and putting food on the table, and they're pretty much left with nothing. And eventually, we will all just go crazy from this financial stress because we just don't know what we're doing. So to clear things up, millennials do have savings, but the savings they have is just so negligible because the system just doesn't work that well anymore. Houses are unaffordable, cars are unaffordable, health insurance is unaffordable. So to actually compare millennials to previous generations, I actually don't think that that's a really fair comparison because it's just two different era, two different times, and it just doesn't work the same. I'm actually considered lucky because I'm one of the early batches of the millennials and not the late batches, so I'm not financially impacted. But still, I have to work hard, and with my ability, I'm pretty sure I can do it. As long as I'm determined, I'm disciplined, I'm pretty sure I can achieve the goal that I want. But still, I actually don't think that I am living a life with no worries at all. And if I'm struggling, then can you even imagine what it's going to be like for the next generation? But the fact is, we're all still doing the same thing. We're still telling the next generation to study hard, to graduate, and then get a good job. But this system will eventually fall over because with each iteration, we are just finding it harder and harder to survive. Every generation is just finding it so hard to survive because the system is not helping them, the system is against them. So there's only one choice, right? To actually find different ways to earn money. We try to change things to be better, we try to improve, and we try our own way to find money. And you know what? Things will change, so we just need to adapt to it. And in our case, millennials are just using social media to the best they can, and they are making a huge profit from it if they know what they're doing. Millennials these days have so much power when it comes to influencing people on social media. It doesn't matter if it's on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok. All of these creations and being smart on how to leverage on this and make money off of it, these are the things that millennials actually manage to figure out by themselves. These are the things that sounds really lame and dumb many years ago, but Nowadays, everyone has one. Everyone is on social media. And I think that all these side hustles has so much potential to go from just a side hustle to really running a real business. And that can help millennials get out of the financial stress, and they don't have to start at the bottom of the food chain anymore whenever they are out there looking for work. And I think this is brilliant that millennials are being creative. And if you're a millennial, then I highly suggest you jump onto the bandwagon of starting a side hustle really soon before Generation Z rises up and takes over millennials with even better innovations. Alright, that's the end of the video. If you're a millennial, please leave a yes comment down below if you agree with what I said in this video, and if you do not agree, just leave me a comment and let me know what do you think about millennials managing their finance. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll chat with you again soon. Bye.